Gamers, with this latest pack release, we've got a bunch of new strategies in the game. Are they top tier, like tier 0 strategies that are going to make Snake Eyes bad suddenly? No, they're not. But we're still going to cover them. I mean, we're Master Duel Central after all. So the first one I've been wanting to cover is Earthbound tier limit. There's also Earthbound Runic that some people have been testing. And while Runic Engine is a lot weaker in Master Duel, I'm still hearing some pretty good things about it. So we might actually come back to cover that one as well. But let's go check out the deck list real quick. All right, so here it is, Earthbound tier limit with a little bit of Vision Resonator in there. I actually had to re-record this part of the video. I'll have to re-record the card by card, and I'll add a different replay in this video because just as I was done recording, Pokemon Trainer in my Discord pointed out that Vision Resonator in Crimson Gaia is way too crazy not to play in this deck. And after some testing, I gotta admit, dude is right. Just to introduce the deck here, the reason that Earthbound is good with tier limit is because of Kraken, I would say. There's other aspects to it, obviously some synergies here and there. Kraken can search any field spell, and you can fusion summon him by using any 2 Earthbound monsters. So basically, Kraken gets you into Perlarino, Perlarino gets you into Sharon, then you can start doing some silly tier limit stuff. I think at best it's like a low tier 3 or maybe like at the higher end of Rogue. It's definitely very solid and it's very, very fun to play. I mean, I haven't revisited tier in so long because I really wasn't a fan of them for a while, but this deck kind of made me like them again. I think this deck is extremely fun to play. Your main combo line that you can do that is kind of flowcharty, we're going to showcase right after this, is when you have access to your Ground Keeper as well as a Fenrir. You also have like a slightly weaker version of that combo if you start with any other Kashtira monster. After adding the Vision Resonator, the deck feels so much crazier. I already thought it was Rogue, but now I feel like it's like on the higher end of Rogue too, maybe even being tier 3 because of how crazy just this card alone being an extender makes it. I do want to explain why. The reason for that is because Stone Sweeper can search the Vision Resonator, and this deck locks you into only summoning Synchros and Fusions. So on the off chance that you can't really go for the Ground Keeper plays, you can still normal Rhino Heart to go into your Fusion plays, and you can just use the Stone Sweeper instead to search the Vision Resonator, and then you'll get an extender off of this that allows you to get potentially into your Synchro plays. Also, keep in mind, you know, it just takes a Kit Kalos plus this dude, and you can go into Ancient Fairy Dragon. Ancient Fairy Dragon can then pop whatever field spell you had on the field to either go get Earthbound Prison or Perlarino, stuff like that. So there's a lot of stuff going on in this deck. It's pretty hard to cover just like by just looking at the deck list. So we're going to start by just showing you the main combo line using a Fenrir as well as a Ground Keeper. And after that, we have some replays and we'll do some live gameplay as well. But before we get into all that, please do make sure to subscribe. We're almost at 20,000 subscribers. We're less than 500 away. I mean, we're getting there, that big benchmark, 20,000 subs. I want to thank everyone that's been supporting the channel over the last 2 years. It's been crazy. You know, when I was in high school, it was basically like one of my biggest dreams to just do YouTube. And once I gave it a shot, I'm really happy that Yu-Gi-Oh community kind of welcomed me with open arms. So you guys are just awesome. With that being said, let's get into it. So we're actually going to start by showing you the most linear line you pretty much have in this deck. For the most part, this deck is not very linear. Obviously, it's a tier limit list. It's very hand dependent. It's very mill dependent as well. But you do have some linear lines that I think are going to help you just kind of understand what clicks with this deck, what makes it work together, where the synergy is. Now, normally with Kashtira Fenrir here, I would be searching the tier limits Kashtira. So, I mean, that's neither here nor there. We're just going to search the Unicorn instead, and it's going to be a dead Unicorn in hand that we can discard later with Sharon. But I'm just going to show you, basically, your linear combo requires access to Fenrir and Ground Keeper. Or if you have access to another Kashtira, you can do a slightly weaker version of the same linear combo. I'll explain what I mean by that shortly. So first off, let's special Fenrir. Like I said here, I would usually be searching the tier limits Kashtira, but we're just going to search a dead Unicorn instead. So let's add Unicorn here. And after that, you go for Ground Sweeper. I mean Stone Sweeper to get the Ground Keeper, my bad. So Stone Sweeper in hand effect, get the Ground Keeper. And now we can normal the Ground Keeper. Ground Keeper effect, special summon the Line Walker from your deck. So special the Line Walker. I should have probably put it in defense, but whatever. Line Walker is going to go fetch our Harmonic Synchro Fusion. So at this point, if you have Fenrir, you're going to make a Baron de Fleur with these two. I just want to point out, if you had any other Kashtira on the field than Fenrir, you can still do the full combo. The only difference is instead of going Baron here, you would just make your level 8 Synchro right now with the Earthbound Prisoner Ground Keeper and the whatever other Kashtira you have on field. But since we have Fenrir and we were able to search another Kashtira, it's much better to just go straight for Baronne de Fleur here. And we're playing around Nibiru. So this Baronne really only gets summoned this early if you go with Fenrir. But you can still do pretty much the full combo minus Baronne if you have another Kashtira. It's just that instead, you won't get Baronne de Fleur early. So here we go. We get Tearlaman's Kashtira on the field here. We have to banish the Fenrir in the grave. And now we can go for a little bit of a mill, see if we get lucky. You know, sometimes you get lucky on that mill, so let's see. And this is where we ball and didn't get anything. You know, it happens. But either way, using these two at this point in the combo, we would go into the Earthbound Servant, the level 8 Synchro Earthbound, basically. And it doesn't really matter if you summon him in the extra monster zone because you don't have link monsters in this deck. This deck is locked into Synchro and Fusion whenever you use your Earthbound cards, so I don't even bother running anything else. So here we're going to go for the effect of our level 8 Synchro. We can bring back the level 1 Tuner Groundkeeper from our grave, and this is where you actually get to use your Harmonic Synchro Fusion. So you go Harmonic Synchro Fusion using your level 1 as well as your level 8, and you can get yourself into both a Synchro that could be summoned using those two and a Fusion that could be summoned using those two. So we get the Wolf Rayet, and we also get the Yugioh Kraken. This is really good. Yugioh Kraken is going to trigger and search any field spell from your deck, which is really what's gluing these two engines together, because then we can get ourselves a copy of Perlerino. We get a little bit of a boost on Wolf Rayet. We can activate Perlerino, and this whole combo really services itself. So here we go. We get Perlerino effect. We're going to grab Sharon with the Perlerino. Now we're going to go for Sharon, my bad. And we're just going to discard the dead unicorn in hand at this point. So discard the unicorn. Get a little bit of a mill. We did get lucky. We actually milled Sharon. I'll just say here, if we didn't mill Sharon, it would be fine because you could use Baronne de Fleur to pop Sharon to then get the Sharon effect in the grave. So keep that in mind. Even if we didn't mill Sharon, we would still be getting a fusion here. Regardless, we're definitely going to go for the Solic effect in grave as well as the Sharon effect in grave. Now, I am kind of mad that I milled the Solic because I like adding Solic with the Kit Kalos usually. And I'm not running any other traps because I'm trying to not like break on just traps and spells. You know, we want engine as much as possible. But it is what it is. I think we're still just... do we still go for Kit Kalos is the question here. Yeah, I think so. I think what we're going to do is we're just going to go for Rule Kalos at this point. So we're going to use our Sharon in grave as well as our Tearlaman's Kashtira in the graveyard. So here's Kit Kalos. Yep. Perfect. Yeah, so the Solic is adding a card to our hand here. Yeah, I think I'm going to actually add the Tearlaman's Kashtira. Because with Kit Kalos, I'm just going to send the Havness. And we're just going to go straight into Rule Kalos without milling an extra 5. I don't really see a point in milling an extra 5 at this point. Add to my hand, no. We're just going to dump the Havness here. We get another boost, and I think after we get this effect, yeah, we're going to have a 4,000 attack Wolf Rayet. And we're going to get ourselves a nice Rule Kalos on the field here. So use these two. There we go. Make Rule Kalos. And I mean, this is really solid, you know. So we're not going to use that. So once Wolf Rayet has 4,000 attack, we can actually shuffle him back in our extra deck and shuffle every single monster opponent controls back into the deck. On top of that, we have the pressure of the Yugioh Kraken. If they special summon anything from the extra deck, we can destroy all their special summon monsters, and they take 800 burn for every single monster destroyed by this effect. We have a Omni Negate in the form of Baronne, and we have our Rule Kalos here. Ideally, if we didn't mill the Solic, I would have just searched Solic with Kit Kalos because I prefer the control of searching Solic. I like how good Solic is, but this is also a pretty good plan B if you do mill Solic. So obviously here we would just set the cross out. We have access to Tearlaman's Kashtira as a potential way to maybe get another fusion summon on opponent's turn if we get lucky with our mills. And that's pretty much about it, you know? So that's the main combo, most linear way to do it. Again, if we didn't have the Fenrir and we just had a different Kashtira in hand at the start there, or access to a different Kashtira plus the Groundkeeper, we could have just summoned that Kashtira and done all of this except for Baronne. So we would have like a level 3 Line Walker, and with the level 3 Line Walker and the Sharon, you could have actually made a level 7 Synchro. So you could have went for like a Dawn Dragster, for example. So instead of like having a Baronne, you would have had a Dawn Dragster with your Line Walker and your Sharon later in your combo. So that is something I want to point out here. It's not like you need absolutely specifically Fenrir to get a good combo. If you have access to Groundkeeper and a Kashtira, you're getting a nice combo unless you get really interrupted, you know. Anyway, let's get into some replays. For this first replay here, forgive me, I forgot to change my field. We're going second into Labrynth, and I actually really like the tier engine into Labrynth this format. By the way, Labrynth is playing Wanted now. That's crazy. I don't know if everyone's playing it, but I've seen it a couple times. Anyway, these guys got super lucky. I mean, they got to discard the rollback. They got their Wanted. They got Diabel Star setting the Sinful Spoils of Betrayal. At this point, I was like, what? Why are you playing? Okay, you're playing Labrynth. My bad. And they get Welcome. I'm guessing this is big Welcome at this point because they would not have searched Welcome otherwise. And we get our draw here. So we draw into the Line Walker. They go for big Welcome, just regular Welcome, I mean, to summon out the Lady Labrynth. And it's our turn. So we're going to actually normal summon the Line Walker here, fetching the Harmonic Synchro Fusion. Then I'm going to go for Sharon Effect, discarding the Ash, and we get to mill 3. We got lucky. We milled the Havness. Love to see it. So we're going to use Havness and this one in order to go into our Kit Kalos. At this point, Kit Kalos Effect is going to get to search, and they're going to go for the Sinful Spoils of Betrayal. Now, this would be good, except that card targets, so we can go super poly and just fuse both our Kit as well as their lady here. So we get to fuse those two, go into a Dragostapelia, which obviously is going to make Big Welcome really terrible here. We get to search our Tilliman's Kashtira, and we get to activate the Kit Kalos Effect to mill. We mill a Sharon, and then they're going to go for Big Welcome. At this point, I'm like, what is Big Welcome even achieving for you? We're going to go for Ash Blossom, and we pretty much clean it up. So, I mean, look, not a lot of Earthbound happening in this replay, but I still thought it was worth showing off. Basically, the reason I went for the Harmonic Synchro Fusion in hand there, the reason I searched that is because later in my turn, I could have probably used like a Tier Engrave plus a Earthbound monster potentially if I milled one to fusion into my level 6 Fusion Earthbound, and then I could use Harmonic Synchro Fusion to synchro both the Line Walker and that level 6 into my Wolf Rayet, and also get to summon a Geokraken and do all that fun stuff. So, I mean, we pretty much just cleaned it up there. I just thought it was a nice replay because we kind of demolished a full setup Labrynth. So, you know. Anyway, let's move on. All right, and in this replay here, I actually get to showcase really all the engines working in tandem with each other. We are going second, but I still had to show it. So we're playing against Tyr here. They're going to go for Scream, then they're going to trigger Sharon. I'm going to Ash Sharon. I guess that was a bit of a misplay. I guess I should have waited. I was just kind of hoping that they would have to normal Sharon and just get 1 mill off of this. But obviously they had Rhino Heart. They go for this. They get the Kit Kalos mill, get a bunch of more mills. You know, it is what it is. Summon out the Chilliman's Kashtira, get a Kit Kalos mill, get a Scream mill, get a Chilliman's Kashtira mill. And they're actually playing Punks in their deck, which, okay, dude, whatever. I don't think this build is as good as mine, but it's all good. They get 1 set. They milled the Solic and the Crime, so we know we don't have to worry about Solic. I'm going to go straight for Groundkeeper. They're going to obviously trigger their Chilliman's Scream here. It's all good. They get a mill. We lose a bit of attack, but we go for our Line Walker. They trigger Sharon in the grave, and here I actually decided to call by Sharon. I was like, with a hand like this, I don't need another Chilliman effect this turn. I can definitely just have my Havness Graveyard effect and still end up with a lot of advantage. So I decided just getting rid of Sharon here to stop them from getting a bunch of advantage was pretty good and pretty safe. I don't know what this card is, but I know I don't have to worry about Solic or Crime, so, well, probably not Crime, and I know for a fact Solic. So we're going to go get ourselves our Harmonic Synchro Fusion. We go for Polymerization here to make Kit Kalos using the Rhino Heart as well as the King of the Swamp in hand. And we get to make ourselves our own Kit Kalos. Kit Kalos send the Havness effect. I'm going to actually use both my Groundkeeper as well as my Havness to make the Gremlina. And I think this card is really, really good for this deck because Gremlina can search Stone Sweeper. Then we can go for the Harmonic Synchro Fusion using these two. So we get ourselves a Wolf Rayet and a Kraken, right? And here's what's crazy. Kraken's going to fetch any field spell. In this case, I get Rights off because I figured I might as well keep Pearl Arena for later since Sharon isn't even live right now. Now, when I go Rights off, they negate it. We don't really care about that. That wasn't my main play. With this card, I was just going to get a Chilliman's Kashtira, but it doesn't really change my game plan that much. Here, I'm going to go for Stone Sweeper, search Vision, and Vision Resonator is so crazy, dude. Vision Resonator plus the Kraken, we get to go straight into Baron de Fleur. And this is where it gets crazy. Vision Engrave effect, we get to search Crimson Gaia. Then we get another boost on this guy. We can Baron pop the Scream. Then we get another of this guy. We go for Crimson Gaia to add back from our grave to our hand the Vision Resonator. This is so crazy because now, until they get rid of this, we pretty much have infinite uses of Crimson. So anyway, we go for Kit here to bring back Rhino Heart and get a couple more mills. I'm also just trying to boost my Wolf Rayet up to above 4,000 attack just to make sure that I can just get rid of all my opponent's cards. So anyway, we mill a couple of cards here, and then we get our Kashtira mill. Again, we go Solik. Solik search Havness for my opponent's turn. And in battle, I'm just going to swing over this stuff. And I have a lot of control here. Obviously, Wolf Rayet is absolutely insane in the Tier Limits matchup since it shuffles back into the deck instead of destroying. And we have a Vision Resonator for follow-up. Like, we have a lot of stuff going on here. Our opponent's just going to scoop it up. But yeah, I feel like I really popped off that game. I think that's a really good showcase for the Vision Resonator in particular. All right, so we're currently in Diamond 4. We're going to get some live gameplay here. And let's see. Okay, going second with Maxi and Ash is really good. You'll have to see it. The hand is pretty great, actually. I guess I'll just keep it for Theosis. Yeah, I'll just let them banish something from my extra. I don't think it's that big a deal. I am going to go for Maxi early, though. Let's go Maxi early. I'll let them look at my extra. I mean, even if they banish Kit, we have other plays in hand here. Oh, they're going for Fenrir. Interesting. Going for Fenrir. Okay, so what this tells me is it's probably actually Manadium. In that case, yeah, I'm not going to negate it. Go ahead. I'm going to keep my Ash. Oh, it's Tier Limit. Okay. Interesting. All right. Well, we will get to keep our Kit in that case. And they're just going to pass here. Fenrir is not even bad here, though. Like, Fenrir can be kind of annoying here. We kind of have to proc him in some way. Ooh, lucky me. Lucky me, I had the Ash. Lucky me. Perfect. Called by is going to be pretty good. I could just commit to my normal go Groundkeeper and let them choose which one they want to banish. We will get plays after. I think that's definitely the play, actually. We go Groundkeeper here. Yeah, because we get to summon one way or the other. And we have so much extension in hand with the Sharon and the Tier Limits Cash that it doesn't really matter if they banish one of our two tuners here. So let's go Groundkeeper. And we're just going to summon the Line Walker. Line Walker will give us an extra search here. Definitely just going to go for the Harmonic Synchro Fusion. Even if we don't get to use it this turn, although we should, depending which one they banish, we should be able to use it this turn. I guess what would be smart for them is to just hold on to their Fenrir. Yeah, okay, perfect. That's smart. That is smart. So then alternatively, we can just negate Fenrir and just pop off here. In a way, this is kind of good because I'm forcing them to use it. There we go. Took you a while, but you finally decided to use it and realized that you kind of had to. Fair enough, man. Yeah, you got it. You got it, dude. All good. I'm just going to go for Sharon. I mean, this is kind of nuts. Yeah, this is kind of crazy. I'm just going to go for Sharon first here. And I'm going to discard Sharon to trigger Sharon in the grave. Should be pretty strong. So here's Sharon. Discarding Sharon. Get to mill a couple. Ooh, baby. That's kind of crazy. So we get both. Cool. So we're going to go Havness Effect. I'm actually not going to... Yeah, I'm not going to use the other Sharon yet. I'm going to hold on to it. We can... Yeah, okay. Yeah, that game was kind of won by Maxi Ash. Let's try to get another one. But we did get a rank up from this. I mean, we're still in Diamond because the season just started. But that was a rank up. We will go get a real duel, though.
5 hours later.
Let me just try it. Oh my god. Okay. I don't even know if I'm actually going to include that. Because I know I said I'd add an extra duel, but I just dueled Dinomorphia, and it took me a full 20 minutes. I think the video would be like over an hour long if I include this duel. So, but I won! Hey! Easy dubs. Easy W. Card by card time. All right, and now for the card by card. So in here, we have 3 copies of Groundkeeper, 3 copies of Maxi, 1 copy of Vision Resonator. I really think Vision Resonator plus 1 Crimson Gaia is amazing for this deck. We have 2 copies of King of the Swamp. King of the Swamp is crazy. You could even play 3 of this, honestly. Like, this card is so good in the deck. 3 copies of Ash, 1 copy of Havness, 1 Line Walker. This card can be a Garnet, so you definitely don't want to run more than 1. 2 copies of Sharon, 3 copies of Rhino Heart, 3 copies of Prisoner Stone Sweeper. And dude, Stone Sweeper is so much better once you have Vision in here. Because if you have like both Stone Sweeper in hand and the Groundkeeper, for example, you can go like a normal Groundkeeper, Specialist Stone Sweeper from your deck. Then you can activate the Stone Sweeper in your hand, search the Vision Resonator. You can special out the Vision Resonator because you control a Stone Sweeper on the field. It's a level 5 or higher dark. So you special this out, then you can like potentially go into you know, your Ancient Fairy Dragon, or if you have a field spell, or you could just go into Dawn Drax. Like, it really depends, but it's going to help you extend your plays. So definitely can come up, especially if you have other things on the field. The Kashtira package here I think is really important. Definitely the Unicorn and Birth is optional, but I really like having access to it. There's pretty much never a time where you're mad to see a Kashtira in your opening hand, and Birth is insanely good in the grind game, especially since you're very likely to mill your Kashtiras anyway. So even if you just had this in hand and none of the Kashtiras, but you know you had like your tier plays, you still wouldn't be too mad because you could do some tier plays and you probably mill at least one Kashtira that you can bring back with your Birth. So definitely really like all of them. One copy of Poly to search off of King of the Swamp. This card is just really good in the deck, honestly. It's kind of crazy. Harmonic Synchro Fusion can summon both a Synchro and a Fusion. I showed you the use of this card. It's kind of nuts, and obviously you got to run it. One copy of Pearl Arena, one copy of Rightsoft, and one copy of Earthbound Prison. This is definitely the worst of your field spells, but it's not terrible either. There's definitely some times when it's nice to have, especially going second. The fact that it can negate a monster can help a lot. And even if you're going first, you know, a lot of the time just having this card on the field will help you proc certain effects, like the graveyard effect of Earthbound Fusion, which only works if you have a field spell on the field, you know. So definitely not something to sleep on. Then we have our tier limit Scream. I'm only running one of Scream. Not a super must run, to be honest. I'm kind of considering removing it. It's not bad, but it's not like amazing either. It's just kind of okay. One copy of Kashtira Birth, we already talked about this. Our Crimson Guy, already talked about this. Triple Super Poly. If you're running Mud Dragon, run Triple Super Poly. Mud Dragon's super good against Snake Eyes, actually, because oftentimes they'll have fire monsters with different types. So yeah, I really like Super Poly in the current format, but you kind of have to run Mud Dragon because Garura is not that good against Snake Eyes. It's good against Labrynth, though, and Labrynth is really popular. So definitely need both of these if you're going to run 3 Super Poly, but yeah, Super Poly is crazy. Also, Tier Limit is getting popular again, so Super Poly is really good for that as well. 2 copies of Called By, 1 copy of Earthbound Fusion. Sadly, this card is unsearchable, but if you mill it, its graveyard effect is so damn useful. It saved me multiple games to get to just banish it from grave, special one of my, you know, Earthbound tuners from the grave, and get to just synchro up a little bit more, synchro spam a bit more. And the Solic, I mean, this trap is crazy. Such a damn good card. I love when I get Max Seed and I can just like go Kit Kalos, search Solic, pass. Like I'm okay with that. For the extra, we have Mud Dragon, Kit Kalos, the Garura. Gremlina, don't sleep on this card. This is the only one that you can make using one of your tier fusions in the grave. So, for example, like if you go Sharon effect in the grave while you have Groundkeeper in the grave, well, you get to make Gremlina, and Gremlina can search Stone Sweeper. I actually did this in one of the replays I showed you. And then, you know, you can go Stone Sweeper, search a Vision Resonator. Then you can special Vision Resonator, make Axel Synchro Stardust, and then you can go Axel Synchro Stardust, bring back Vision, make Baron, right? So definitely not something to sleep on. Gremlina is actually really good. The fact that it can search one of your monsters, well, specifically a Stone Sweeper, which is then an extender, is really, really nice. Dragos Depelia is kind of a no-brainer. Rule Kalos as well. Kraken is kind of the glue, I think, for these 2 decks, just because it can search any field spell, which makes your main combo line able to search Pearl Arena, which is nuts. Then we have the Kaleido Heart. Kaleido Heart plus Solic is unbeatable. Grapha is super easy to summon as well, so really good addition there. Ancient Fairy Dragon is pretty integral to this deck, actually. A lot of the time, you'll have a field spell on the field that, like, such as, for example, the Earthbound Prison. And then, you know, you can go for Ancient Fairy Dragon to pop it and get a search of your Pearl Arena. It's very easy to make level 7 synchros in this deck. So definitely love having Ancient Fairy Dragon. Also, the extender effect of summoning a monster from hand can be really useful to climb into synchros, especially if you have like Ash on the, you know, like in hand or something and you want to make a Baron with it, then you can do that. Dawn Dragster is extremely important because in your main line combo, if you start with any other Kashtira than Fenrir, for like the Kashtira plus Groundkeeper combo, then instead of having Baron at the start of your combo, you're actually going to end your combo with a Dawn Dragster that you're going to make using the Line Walker, as well as the Sharon that you get to special summon during that combo. So definitely a must run. Then you have the Axel. You have the Earthbound Servant Geogriffin. This is obviously a must-run for the deck because it's how you are able to activate your Harmonic Synchro Fusion. Wolf Rayet is just the best level 9 synchro that you have. That's like, that doesn't need to be properly synchro summoned to get a good effect. Yeah, it's kind of a must run, even though some people probably don't want to craft this card. But honestly, it's not bad right now. Like, it's actually kind of crazy right now. Because shuffling back Flamberge is crazy. Like, shuffling back Snake Eyes is crazy. Shuffling back Tearlament is insane. So, I don't know. I kind of like it. I'm not going to lie. And yeah, we have Baron. I mean, it's Baron, right? At the end of the day, I really, really like this deck. I think this deck is awesome. I also don't think it's like a top tier contender or anything like that. But I think it kind of ranks around like a high rogue to maybe like a low tier 3 kind of deck, like slightly above rogue maybe. I think it's really, really solid though. I mean, I've been doing quite good with it. It might even be better than I'm giving it credit for right now, just because I'm not super accustomed to tier, you know, so I need to get reaccustomed. But yeah, overall, man, I'm a huge fan. This is the most fun I've had with tier in ages, if not ever. So if you guys did get the Earthbound cards and you have Tearlament cards, I highly recommend giving this deck a shot. It is so fun. And thanks Pokemon Trainer for pilling me on the Vision Resonator, because this is a game changer. Anyway, I hope this video was useful, guys. All right, peace.